Welcome to another episode of Seeds of Success. My name is Orly, and I'm one of the hosts today. And as always, Dottie is here with me. Dottie, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, I'm great. I am great. Orly, we have a guest with us today, one that has been with us before, and we're very excited to have him back. So tell us a little bit about who we have with us on the show today.
We have Kyle Thornburn. Kyle is a shift leader, shift manager over at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Kyle, I'm glad we didn't scare you away and you are back to join us again. How are you doing?
I am doing well, just surviving out here in the cold in Lincoln.
So today's title of the show is Giving Your Brand Character. And before we go into that, or Dottie is going to explain what that's about, here in the notes, I keep seeing Wobbles. You guys are going to have to fill me in because I don't know who Wobbles is or what Wobbles is or what's wobbling around. So if somebody wants to give me a little background on that, that will help me with this show.
I'm going to start this out because I'm going to say that I have been following Wobbles for a long time now. So Wobbles is synonymous with Sun Valley Lanes and Games. It's synonymous with uh, John Lascito's nemesis. I think that Wobbles has become a part of Sun Valley Lanes and Games. And Kyle, that's kind of what we want to know. How did this all get started? What's Wobbles all about? And is he your nemesis as well?
So, Wobbles is a fun story. I can't tell you honestly 100% how he got started. I wasn't around at that point. I've never actually ventured to ask what made them think to get an inflatable bowling pin mascot. I just know that since the beginning, he has been pretty much picking on John, whether it's throwing water balloons off of the roof at him, or throwing donuts on the floor in front of him, or bullying him during the renovation that we went through, all sorts of stuff.
Oh, that was
And
that was that was hilarious. That was so fun to watch.
it's fun. And for me, I look at Wobbles as my friend because I get to record both of them. So my profile picture in my work email is actually a selfie of me and Wobbles. So anytime I email John, he has to look at that. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, Wobbles is a big part of who we are here at Sun Valley Lanes and Games. And everybody is always, we post a video and who is Wobbles? Who's gonna be Wobbles? Who does Wobbles all the time? And it's just kind of funny. Like the other day, we made a video, and we're like, all right, you guys have been asking us who Wobbles is for years, and we had someone pretty much just unzip Wobbles, and underneath was just someone in a gorilla costume. So just kind of trolling our own fans and stuff, that like to watch Wobbles videos and stuff like that. So he's just a lot of fun to be able to do fun things with.
Well, a number of years ago when you guys did the huge remodel, and y'all just completely changed everything. It was very interesting. Your logo changed, your interior changed, your experience changed, a lot changed, but Wobbles was consistent. And Wobbles was a part of that. And as I mentioned earlier, I enjoyed that experience with Wobbles. I will tell you that we do a show called Beyond the Frame Live, and we've talked about having Wobbles on, but Wobbles is a bit contrary when he wants to be. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that there is that consistency, and Wobbles is now part of the Sun Valley Lanes brand. And when you see Wobbles, you recognize that that is Sun Valley Lanes and Games. And so, and anybody has that opportunity to integrate that. We recently, Cubica AMF recently was at IAPA, and we had costume specialists out of Columbus, Ohio, had a pin that came to our booth. It actually looked like an official bowling pin, right? It was amazing. And a big shout out to those guys for the work that they do. But it was amazing how people gravitated to the pin. Even though the pin could not speak, the pin had a definite personality, and people gravitated towards it because it was fun. So the fact that you guys have leveraged Wobbles, if I recall correctly, wasn't there a contest to name Wobbles?
Oh, I don't know. That's a interesting tidbit. If so, I'll have to ask John and let you guys know for sure. But
Let us know.
maybe.
Something tells me that maybe back in the day that the viewers of y'all's website and social media had some impact on that. I could be wrong. I could be crossing this with somebody else that has a character as part of their brand. But it is fun and it is very recognizable, for your brand. So I think it was really fun. What is probably one of the craziest things that you've witnessed Wobbles doing?
One of the craziest things I've witnessed him doing. Oh, I'm trying to think. Putting me on the spot here. Probably just overall being like mean to anybody he comes in contact with and no one cares. He can literally do whatever he wants to anybody, whether it's trying to trip them or getting down in front of them and like shaking his nose. There's a thing you can like pull his nose in and out, and he can literally do and treat people however he wants, and they just seem to like not care because it's a
Yeah,
bowling
they
pin.
actually laugh at it, right?
Yeah.
They just kind of like, well, that's great because you have, it's a costume. It's something that has zero life. It's just fabric and a costume. But what you guys have done is y'all have brought that costume to life and y'all have leveraged it to help tell a story and to help be a part of the brand. That tells me that Sun Valley Lanes and Games is fun. It's all about having a great time. It's about having fun. It's about not taking life too seriously, right? And
Yeah.
Waffles is a great way to help reinforce that that's what you guys do here at Sun Valley Lanes and Games.
Yeah, and then when Kyle mentioned, he mentioned people were saying, who's inside of Wobbles, who's Wobbles. The fact that people are getting that involved with it shows that it's working. Shows,
Yeah.
when you put something out there and people are talking about it, or they continue to talk about it, or they want to know more about it, you know that it's doing its job, and it sounds like it's definitely doing its job.
I
Yeah,
think one of the coolest things I've seen him do is just we had him out there was a bunch of field trips one day, and it was just kind of spur of the moment. Someone should go get in Wobbles and just kind of walk around. And there was a group of kids that followed him around the whole time, just going, Wobbles, hit the gritty. Wobbles, do the Dougie. Wobbles, do this dance.
oh,
And I forget who was in Wobbles that day, but they were just hitting all these dances, and it's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
that's too funny. It's having a character and being known through that character. You really have a lot of opportunity on social media. On Instagram, I follow this crazy pooch. It's called Noodles the Pooch. I'm not here promoting it, but I guess I really am. It is absolutely 100% so hilarious. This pooch that they have all fixed up with little glasses and little puffy ears and all this has an attitude in the workplace, and this pooch is a working pooch. So it's like the day in the life of a working person, right? It's a female, but it's so relevant. I'm like, I can relate to that. I relate to that. I relate to that. And I just love this little pooch. Well, they have leveraged that. I mean, it's now you can subscribe. They have stuffed, pooches that you can buy,
Sure.
stuffed noodles. So there are so many advantages to, incorporating a character or to breathe life into a character that becomes part of your brand. And you guys have done an amazing job. High five. Kudos for Sun Valley Lanes and Games and for all the people that are involved. And I just want to kind of say before we close out today that you had mentioned that, when you have things going on in your center, that you guys are all hands on deck and there's a lot of communication that goes on with that. And that's something that I want to note. I know this episode is about branding and Wobbles and characters and stuff,
Sure.
but there's so much to be said about communicating and, even something as simple as asking someone to put on the suit and be Wobbles for the day. There's a great deal of coordination and communication that has to go into it and prep, as well as after the fact talking about, well, what are we going to do next time? What should we have done differently? those are all things that you guys do, and y'all do it really, really well. And so I wanted to mention that because that's sometimes something that we forget about, how valuable that communication is, even for somebody that can't talk like Wobbles.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for being on the show. Orly, I think we have a great keeper here. Hopefully, he will be willing to come back on. He's got so much valuable knowledge, and these little nuggets of information that he's given us are just so valuable. So, um, Kyle, thanks again for being our guest today, and thank you for what you do at Sun Valley Lanes and Games. It's always a pleasure to watch what you guys are up to over there, including Wobbles, even though he's mischievous. So, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to us today. There are so many other episodes. If you have not subscribed to Seeds of Success on your favorite podcast platform, do so and share it with your staff. Our job is to give you tiny little nuggets of information, and your job is to nurture those nuggets and grow and help your business grow to be even more successful than you ever thought possible. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great week, and until next time, see you on another episode of Seeds of Success.